Okay. Alright, welcome back to the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 2 tutorial series brought to you by the Odo Faction. I am DarkMusician.
And I am sniperworm.
Okay, so what have we got today?
Okay, so today we'll be talking about the priority of attacks in this game.
Alright. So where do we begin with that?
Okay, so I guess to begin I'll kind of go over a little bit of, I guess, some of the terms I'll be using,
okay.
just in case, just in case you're not that familiar, or more importantly, I guess everybody kind of has their own terminology for what everything is.
Right.
So yeah, it's important that you know what the heck I mean by what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I guess there's three terms I'm going to be throwing around a lot when I talk about the priority of attacks. First one is clashing. Basically, clashing is what I refer to when two moves cancel each other out.
Okay.
A good example of that is, I guess, if two people chakra dash into each other, they just kind of bounce off of each other.
Right. Or if ultimate jutsu on ultimate jutsu.
Yeah.
Some of them will bounce off.
Yeah, basically when both characters bounce off of each other like that, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
That's clashing. So, next up is to negate something. I basically use that term a lot when I'm talking about projectiles.
Okay. So
basically, if one projectile negates another one, that means if the two of them hit each other,
yeah.
then like say one is Sasuke's fireball and the other one is shuriken, you know?
Right. The
fireball will negate the shuriken, meaning the fireball will hit the shuriken and the shuriken will just lose their hitbox and the fireball will keep going. And I guess the last term, which I kind of figure you know what I'm talking about, but I'll go into it anyway just to be thorough, is invincibility.
Ah, okay. That's
so
pretty straightforward, I guess.
Yeah, basically, if you have invincibility against a certain type of move, you're not affected by it.
Right.
And if you're invincible against projectile type moves, then it'll basically negate the projectile's hitbox when the move tries to hit you.
Yeah.
One important global thing to note that I'm not going to say again is that projectiles in this game are a lot like projectiles in most other games, in that they retain their hitboxes even if the character that originated the projectile gets hit. So it's just like MVC3 fire projectiles as compared to beams. A beam, if the main character gets hit, the beam cuts off.
Right.
Whereas with a projectile, the projectile keeps going even if the main character gets hit.
Generally, yeah.
Yeah. So that's how it is in this game. And I mean, obviously, if you're doing a non-projectile move and you get hit, the hitbox goes away. I mean, that's pretty straightforward.
Right.
So first thing we're gonna cover is the priority of normal attacks, and that includes your normal strings on the ground and in the air, along with and also your tilts.
Right. They
all share the same normal priority. And as I kind of covered before, there are two kinds of normal priority. There's physical, which are the hand-to-hand moves, and projectile, the ones where they fling people at fling things at other people, not fling people at other things.
Well, I guess it depends on the character, but
that's true.
Sometimes some characters throw themselves. But yeah.
Speaking of throwing themselves, I think I'll pick Naruto.
Yeah.
And you can go ahead and, well, actually, I'm gonna save Naruto for a little bit later. Who has a nice fit? Okay, I'll go with Sakura. And you can go with Itachi.
Okay, so we have our characters.
Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna go over is the priority of physical normal attacks.
Okay.
So that includes most ground combos, you know, because most people, when they do their ground combos, they're punching or kicking or some kind of physical move. That includes air combos as well.
Yeah.
And it also includes tilts. They all share that physical normal priority, assuming that they're physical attacks.
Okay.
So basically, physical normals are pretty basic. I mean, it's about as basic as you can get. Generally speaking, they have no invincibility, they don't clash with anything, and they don't negate anything. So if two normals interact with each other at the same time, you'll both hit each other. You'll trade essentially.
Yes.
I'm sure you've seen that before. I don't really think we need to show that.
I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what I will show is that there is an exception to that rule of no invincibility, and that is Itachi's tilt.
Oh yeah.
So what I'm gonna, yes, that move.
Yeah.
So unlike when I do my tilt, which is just running at you, Itachi is actually invincible. So to show that I'm not invincible, could you please shoot a fireball at me when I start tilting? Okay. Okay. See, I got hit. I'm not invincible. Okay, now you go ahead and do yours.
This game needs a taunt button.
Okay, try one more time. Curses, my bomb didn't work.
Okay, so yeah, there you go.
Yeah, invincible. So basically he's the exception. He's invincible during his tilt while he can hit you.
Is he the only character?
Yeah, whereas tilt's invincible, yeah. Whereas invincible normal. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to projectile normals.
Alright, we're back, so let's get in it.
Yeah, okay, so now we're talking about projectile normals.
Okay.
Which are actually quite rare. Generally speaking, the only projectile normals that'll be interacting with anything are tilts.
Yeah.
And projectile normals, like all other projectiles, have no actual invincibility. And I'm gonna say that every single time I talk about projectile priority, just because I wanna make sure that you realize that you're not invincible. Even though it's just kind of obvious, I'm just gonna say it over and over, because invincibility is a big thing.
Yeah.
And generally speaking, projectile normals do not interact with other projectiles.
What do you mean?
So, for example, if I was to do a projectile normal like Neji's tilt, and you were to throw a shuriken through it,
yeah,
they wouldn't interact. The shuriken would go through and hit me, and you would get hit by the tilt.
Huh.
So we're gonna have to time this. Okay, or I could get hit. But the point is that the projectile normal doesn't actually interact with it, yeah?
Yeah.
It just kind of goes and then... whereas some other ones like Goto's one actually do cancel out shuriken.
Oh, really?
Yes. So go ahead and tilt and I'll see if we can get this. There, see?
Yeah! The sand, it shields me. Whatever.
Totally viable, right? Anyway,
oh, yeah! It's like a light shield.
Anyway, the point is, some projectile normals actually do interact with other projectiles.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, projectile normals are so bad that it doesn't really matter. So, that's projectile normals, in a nutshell. So, just for clarity, physical normals, they have no invincibility, don't clash with anything. Same with projectile normals, no invincibility, and they don't interact with anything. And if I'm talking about both of them together, I'll just call them normal priority or normal attack priority. Okay. So now we're gonna move on to throws.